Its controversial bill to allow extraditions to mainland China.
I have to admit that our explanation and communication work has not been sufficient or effective.
Also coming up, a Sydney apartment block evacuated as the building begins to crack. Saving the Woolamai pine. Scientists fight to protect Australia's rarest tree. In sport, Melbourne Storm extend their lead at the top of the NRL ladder, ending Newcastle's winning streak.
Goodbye! Seven's over! Scoreboard 6 over!
Hello there and welcome to ABC News. I'm Mariam Saab with the top stories this hour. But first, the weather around our capital cities tomorrow. Brisbane, a shower or two and a possible storm. Showers in Sydney and Perth. Morning frost and cloudy in Canberra. A possible shower in Adelaide. Partly cloudy in Melbourne and Hobart. And a sunny day expected for Darwin. After almost a week of violent demonstrations and angry scenes in Hong Kong, the government has now bowed to pressure and delayed a controversial extradition law. China correspondent Bill Birtles has been covering the protests for ABC News and joins us with the latest from Hong Kong. So, Bill, is this a back down or a delay tactic?
Mariam, this is very much a delaying tactic from Hong Kong's leader, Carrie Lam. Now, on one hand, this is all about people power succeeding. The protesters who have been here all week have managed to scuttle a vote on this controversial extradition bill that was originally supposed to happen in a few days' time. So that's good for them. But on the other hand, Carrie Lam has not promised to shelve this extradition legislation. She's simply going to delay it, probably to sometime next year. She has promised to consult more, to listen to the voices of Hong Kong society. But that will not be enough for the protesters. They want this bill scrapped altogether.
So how are critics of the proposed law likely to react, Bill?
The interesting question will be tomorrow. A major protest is planned. Carrie Lam would be hoping that her actions today will placate those protesters and fewer people will turn out. But many of the demonstrators, there's a small demonstration around me on this bridge, some of the people here this afternoon say they will still hit the streets tomorrow because not only are they angry that she is refusing to cancel the bill altogether, but people here are also very angry about the police tactics that were used a few days ago to shut down that last major protest. So there is still a lot of underlying anger in this city, and we still expect a fairly large demonstration tomorrow.
Bill Birtles reporting from Hong Kong. Returning to our shores, another Sydney apartment block has been evacuated after cracks were found inside the structure. More than 100 residents of a 10-storey building at Mascot were last night ordered to get out. The cracks were first discovered a few weeks ago, but the evacuation order was given after they suddenly began to widen.
Panic and confusion as people are told, get out now. Residents were heard screaming as they rushed to the doors, clutching children, pets and possessions.
Feels pretty crap and upset and don't know what to do.
I went to talk with the manager and they just saying we have like 30 minutes to evacuate.
Residents were warned on Thursday to remove any sentimental and valuable items, including vehicles, and store and park them in another location. But few thought they would actually be evacuated on a cold Friday night. Some returned today hoping to be let in.
I don't know what should I do, I don't know, because I don't have anything to see, just like this. Oh my God.
But access was denied and information scarce.
Are you building management? Oh, OK, can we ask what's going on? When will residents be allowed to move back into the building?
Sorry, I'm just returning.
Is it a matter of days or weeks? It's not just residents who've been forced out. This strip is usually lined with tables and chairs and bustling with diners. Like those who live here, these businesses want someone held accountable. Fear has turned to frustration.
We please request the management to give us the opportunity to open this place once again.
Because according to them, this part of building is safe.
A hotline will be set up on Monday morning for those who need information. And my message to the owners of the building and the Strata Corporation, keep the information going, keep the communication lines open.
The reason for the cracking isn't clear.
This building's a fairly good building. I actually think it could be associated with what's been built against the boundary.
It's just notoriously suspicious. A new building that's not even occupied next door and a building that's been up for 12 years all of a sudden has sort of substantial cracks.
It's the second major evacuation of a Sydney apartment block in 6 months.
With all these apartments growing like weeds, I mean, there's going to be problems all over the place in the future.
Engineers are investigating the cause of the damage. Emily Lawrence, ABC News, Sydney.
WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange will have to spend another 8 months behind bars awaiting a full extradition hearing. Lawyers have outlined 18 charges he will face if forced to travel to the United States. Chief Foreign Correspondent Philip Williams was at the Westminster Magistrates Court in London.
Outside the court, Julian Assange's supporters wanted the world's media to hear a simple message. Inside court number 3, lawyers for the US government described the secret documents published by WikiLeaks as one of the largest compromises of classified information in the history of the United States, accusing it of putting people at grave risk by identifying them. In reply, Julian Assange said, 175 years of my life are at stake, referring to the potential sentence if convicted on all counts. Mr Assange denied his organisation was responsible for hacking and said WikiLeaks was a publisher. His lawyers said with no access to a computer, his ability to prepare to fight extradition was seriously compromised, and the years of confinement were taking its toll.
It is a lot for one person to deal with in circumstances where he doesn't have a laptop to be able to review material. We can't even hand him papers when we visit him inside the prison. We're having difficulties getting him papers.
Laurie Love beat a US extradition attempt on appeal after he was accused of hacking government computers. He says Julian Assange must not be sent to the United States.
Because if he is, none of us should be able to live with ourselves because we all have betrayed a human being of immense courage.
Julian Assange has been caught up in the British justice system for nearly 10 years. He'll have to wait even longer before he knows whether he'll be forced to go to the United States, where he says he'll face not justice but revenge. Philip Williams, ABC News, London.
Moving on to